time!
Michael Bowden, back again. And I am your host, Destiny Hero Mike. And welcome back to D-Time Yu-Gi-Oh! Yes, welcome back to D-Time Yu-Gi-Oh! And I love doing that. I don't care how it makes me look crazy, kooky, crazy, wild, or whatever. I don't care, man. I love doing that. I'm just being me for people who like other people to be themselves. So, yes, welcome to D-Time Yu-Gi-Oh! Here we're into the third or fourth, I don't know. By the time this is all uploaded, this should hit first. So this is the third hero tutorial discussion, and we're talking about extra deck monsters. So, if you're just, for some reason, catching the third video and you haven't seen the rest yet, please go back into the playlist and check out the rest. And subscribe while you're at it if you're new, if you haven't checked out the two other videos. Anywho, yes, we want to talk about the extra deck starters, like the extra deck monsters, the main ones you're going to be using. There's all sorts of different extra deck monsters. There's like Elemental Hero Core, you know, you got actual Flame Wingman, stuff like that. There are so many hero fusions, it can get overwhelming. And so, you know, the point of this video is to minimize, is to cut the fluff, is to cut the things you're not going to be using and get straight to what you're going to be using. Get straight to the most useful hero fusions and or extra deck monsters that you're going to be playing. So, yeah, so this is just a general guide for the extra deck for heroes. Just so you guys know, just to be clear, if it isn't obvious enough here. So, I want to talk about your starters first, okay? Because each one of them, they have their different uses. And just like any modern deck, every modern deck has a starter extra deck monster. See, these aren't just boss monsters per se. They're really starter monsters as well. They contribute to the start part of your play. And the first two, before we even get to Sunrise, the first two is going to be your Cross Crusader and your Wonder Driver. Now let's read what the Wonder Driver does. Some players don't play Wonder Driver, but I do. He is very important because if you want to maximize the point of Wonder Driver is if you want to maximize your polymerization spell card, you want to maximize all your monsters. You want to be able to fuse twice without having to use, before you even pop off your Fusion Destiny, because we all know how powerful that card is. But before you pop off your Fusion Destiny, you get to poly twice and then Fusion Destiny. You fusion 3 times in one turn. That's the way it's supposed to work. And that's what makes cards like Dystopia live, for example. But before we're getting way ahead of ourselves, let's read the extra hero Wonder Driver. He is a Link 2. So two of any hero monsters. And if this card is, if you normal summon a hero to a Link zone that this points to, if you normal or special summon, so let's just pretend we special summon a Cross Crusader, this effect mandatory goes off. You can target a hero, a fusion spell card like Polymerization, it says Polymerization, Mass Change, or a fusion card such as something like a Fusion Destiny or Fusion Recovery. Target that in your graveyard and set it to your spell trap card zone. So then you can use it again because it's a normal spell. Now if you get something like a Mass Change, you can't use it because it's a quick play, so you can't use it that same turn. But a normal spell card you can use in the same turn, which Polymerization is going to be your most powerful target. Just plain old regular Polymerization is going to be your most powerful target for that. And then if this card is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, you can special summon any hero monster from your hand, which that's going to be rare, let's be honest. Usually you're going to link him away, or he's just kind of like going to sit there because you're going to have an established board by the time you're done using him. 19 attack power, very powerful card in my opinion. He's very underutilized. I use him, and stay tuned for the next video because I'm going to show you one combo that I use with him. I'm going to show you how to maximize with this guy. He's insane. It's going to be including this guy. The next one, everyone loves Cross Crusader. We all believe that he should get a foil, myself included. He should have came in the Master 10 as a parallel rare. I think we would have all loved that. Rank 2, Dark. He's an honorary Destiny hero, okay? extra hero Cross Crusader, even though he's not in name, but in spirit he is, because 2 warrior monsters. So I don't know why they did that. They just should have said just 2 hero monsters. I don't know why they made it say 2 warrior monsters. Maybe because, you know, Destiny heroes are known for working with non-hero monster decks. So maybe that's what they had in mind. You could use just 2 generic warriors. As long as you had a Destiny hero monster in your graveyard, it's all Gucci. But anyways, when this card, if this card is Link Summon, you can target 1 Destiny hero monster in your graveyard any level. It could even be a fusion monster, fusion Destiny hero monster, and special summon it. Then you can tribute 1 Destiny hero monster and add, I believe it could also be face down, and add any hero monster from your deck, from the deck to the hand. And you can only use the effect, each of the effect, once per turn. So it's a hard once per turn. So, as well as the Wonder Driver, I like to mention. So, yeah, he's your extender. He's your extender, searcher, and he can be a starter in some respects depending on your situation. He can help you get your Ferris that you've been needing. He just turns things online. He gives you maximum use of the Destiny Hero Malicious. So he's just insane. Everyone loves this. Everyone loves Cross Crusader better than Wonder Driver. But listen, I'm a maniac. I like Wonder Driver better than Cross Crusader. You're going to see why in the next video, which also will be going up today. I'm doing 2 today. I'm working overtime for y'all today. And yeah, he's 16 attack power, and he leads off easily into the Dread Decimator if you need OTK. And we're going to be talking about him right now. So the extra hero Dread Decimator, he is 2 plus hero monsters, Link 3, so 1 hero monster. So you can use a monster that Cross Crusader brings back and link the 3 away. These 2, this guy is a 2, and the 3rd monster, the hero, to bring him out. And what he does is he's just really insane. I've OTK'd a lot. I've OTK'd just as much as an Access Code Talker does when I bring this guy out. I do it all the time. He gets through so much. He has piercing, and anything that he points to, including himself, gains 100 attack for each different hero monster in your graveyard name. The thing is, he points down 3 of the best ways. He has the best arrows. So you're going to have at least 2 fusion monsters under this guy, and he's piercing. And by the time you do it, you're going to have like 5 different names in the graveyard. You're going to be 500 or plus more attack power for the Dread Decimator and the 2 other heroes, maybe even 3 sometimes. I've done it, and it's just atrocious, this guy. He's really strong. He steals a lot of games. I play him. A lot of other hero players cut him, but he's our access code target. He gets through so much. He's an out, and he OTKs. He ends the game so quick and easily with Destiny Hero. As we talked about the previous video, Destiny Hero, such as Destiny Hero, Malicious, and the Denier. So I play him. You should too. He's a dark, so he's also a mass change target. Just in case he gets targeted by something, you could dodge him and bring out a Dark Law and ruin their day. So yeah, he's a very strong answer. Very, very strong answer. He gets through a lot of different things. So now we're going to talk about more of, so those are more of our starter guys, okay? So now we're going to talk about more of our mid-range control bosses. So the first being the Destiny Hero Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. I mean, even though a lot of you guys know what he does, he just came in a tin can. The Mega Tin Can is only $8. This deck is truly budget, guys. This deck is absolutely budget. He just got reprinted. He's only about $8, $8 to $10 max. So there's no excuse. This deck is budget friendly. It absolutely is. So level 6 or higher hero monster and 1 Destiny Hero monster. So any 6 or, you know, any level 6 and 1 Destiny Hero monster. So it's usually going to be something like you're going to fusion Destiny him out. But in my combos, I hard poly him. He comes out every single game the way I use my Phoenix Enforcer. I poly my Phoenix Enforcer so that I can save my Fusion Destiny from other powerful targets. But before we get into that, monsters that the opponent controls lose 200 attack for each hero monster in the graveyard. Doesn't have to be just Destiny Hero monsters. So that is a continuous effect. It is not an activated effect. It's a continuous effect. Very strong floodgate. You can only use 1 of each of the following effects per turn. So yeah, if it gets negated, you cannot use it again. It is a hard once per turn. You can destroy both 1 card on the field himself or something else that you have, and another card on the field. So you can destroy 2 cards on your side of the field, or 1 card on your side of the field, and 1 card on their side of the field. And then obviously his graveyard effect is, I mean, he's super, like, he's the most popular Destiny hero, so, but I still have to go over his effect for you guys. You can, if this card is destroyed in, you know, any way, shape, or form or sent to your graveyard, you can activate this effect. During the next standby phase, you can special summon non-targeting a Destiny hero monster from your graveyard. So it doesn't have to be just him, it can be just anybody else, but note that if you bring out somebody other than himself, he won't be coming back. But if they DD Crow him, well, he can, they're going to DD Crow him, and then he's still able to bring out something else, for example. So after his effect has resolved, of course. Very powerful card. He's going to be one of your mid-range, and the other, his cousin, his brother, the Dark Law, when these two on the field together is disgusting. What this guy does is you have to bring him out via mass change, the spell card, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Any card that is sent to the graveyard on your opponent's side of the field is just completely banished. Not even side of the field, just any card from their hand or deck, it's banished. So hand, deck, or field is banished. One side Macrocosmos. And once returned, if the opponent adds or draws outside of the draw phase a card from their deck to their hand, he can at random banish one card from their hand. So very powerful card, 2400 attack power. And when these two are in combination together, opponent's gonna have a bad time because the DPE is gonna lower their attack. They're not gonna be able to freely run over Dark Law, plus the threat of DPE being able to pop something. So yeah, man, it's me, DPE. So that is gonna be the core part of your extra deck setup. These guys here, honestly, just these alone will win you a game. Well, I'm gonna put this to the side here, but just these four alone, more often than not, this is gonna win you the game. Okay. Now, should the game now? Oh, wait a minute. Those are our mid. See, these are our mid guys. We're gonna go back to starters. So since we're here, we're gonna go back to starters before I get into the grind game fusions and whatnot. The Sunrise. Sunrise is very important. How could I forget the Sunrise? Very, very, very important. He's also part of your starter play. For example, I love summoning the Sunrise under the Wonder Driver, for example, because it just nets you so much advantage. And so what this guy does is 2 hero monsters with different attributes. And so there it is. And then, by the way, monsters that you control, so it doesn't have to be hero. Monsters that you control with different attributes gain attack power. So I guess Konami had the Neospatians in mind, because the Neospatians will also get pumped up, or non-hero monsters will also get pumped up by 200 for each different attribute on the field. And if this card is special summoned, you can, so it has to just be special summoned. It doesn't even need to be fusion summoned, so it can be cheated out by something by an instant contact. You can add a Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand, and when this card is attacked involving a different hero monster that you control, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. So he's very powerful boss start. He's going to get your Miracle Fusion. So usually he comes out with these 3. So usually, like, this is like the Holy Trinity, okay? Well, these 3 are the Holy Trinity fusion-wise, but yeah, these are going to be your starters. So these are your starters. You go from starter to mid-range, okay? Now you're midway into your combo, and that's usually going to be the end of your board. Something to that extent. That's what your board is going to be looking like. So something to that extent, okay? So these are your starters and mid-range controls. I cannot believe I almost forgot Sunrise. Please forgive me. All right, now here's where the game this is part of the grind game. The Dread Decimator I like to make note of is it's not a starter in any way, shape, or form, but it's more so just a grind game card, but we've already discussed him. So the next thing we're going to talk about, okay? These are our grind game cards. So we're going to talk about Absolute Zero, because you're going to be using your Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier quite often. Usually Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier is used to bring out Sunrise, and you will see in the next example video, because we're going to do a full play. So in this tutorial for the next video, level 8 and any Elemental Hero and any hero monster. So any hero, such as something like say you use a Shadow Mist or a Stratos from your graveyard. Usually you're going to bring him out with a Miracle Fusion and a Water Monster, being the Liquid Soldier. And if this card is This card cannot be, obviously, just all Elemental Hero fusion monsters. They have to be fusion summoned. They cannot be monster reborn, which is very good to know because that could, you don't want that working against you. So this card gains 500 attack for each face-up water monster on the field, except Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. So if you're going against like Swap Frogs and you're going against, you know, a Totally Awesome, he's gonna get an extra 500, which is really nice. Any other water monster, any other water variant, which is kind of rare to be honest in today's meta, outside of the Swap Frogs and Toad currently in today's meta. But when this card is removed from the field, it destroys, as Chainlink 1, it destroys all monsters the opponent controls. It's very similar to Mirror Jade, the branded fusion Mirror Jade. But the thing is, it's mandatory. So it's not optional, it's mandatory. And by the way, if your opponent returns it, if your opponent spins it to the deck, like a unicorn or something, turns back to the extra deck, it will not activate. Back in the day, it used to activate somehow in the extra deck, but it got errata to where it does not activate when it's returned back to the extra deck. But once it's banished or sent to the graveyard in any way, shape, or form, it will just pop off. So the cool thing about this guy, it could chain block. You could chain block your opponent. So if you're going against something like a DeFleur, and we're going to get into our next guy, the Mass Hero Acid. So if you bring out, I've done this before, you mass change away the Absolute Zero, bring out the Acid, and you go chain link 1 Absolute Zero, chain link 2 Acid. If they have something like any kind of negate effect or something like that, like a Baron, a DeFleur Baron, the Baron's gonna miss the timing to negate and destroy Absolute Zero's destroy effect because Acid is going. They're going to be forced to negate and destroy Acid's destruction effect. So, and into Acid during the grind game, usually you're going to use a mass chain to send away the Absolute Zero. There's no other target for it. For what you're doing, bring on the Mass Hero Acid. Must be fusion summoned with mass chains. Cannot be summoned in other ways. 2600 attack power, 21 defense. Pretty beefy defense, considerably. If this card is fusion summoned, destroy all spell and trap cards the opponent controls. And if I do, the opponent loses 300 attack each monster. Now, it's not an out to mine. It really is not an out to mine because it starts on a whole new chain link. So it's not an out to mine, but it's an out to everything else. So your only active out to mine, I hate to break it to you, is going to be the DPE. So if you're thinking, oh yeah, pops Mystic Mine, no. Just a friendly reminder, no. This cannot deal with Mystic Mine in a chain link scenario, but the DPE can. So try not, if you know your opponent, if you suspect or know your opponent is playing a Mystic Mine, try to hold on to that DPE's destruction effect as long as possible. Sometimes I know they might force him out, they surprise you with that, but yeah. So that's for grind game or backfield answers. And then you've got Elemental Hero Escarita. It doesn't do very much at all. Just a Elemental Hero monster and any dark monster. Usually you're just going to use this guy with Miracle Fusion. He gains 100 attack for each Elemental Hero in the graveyard, but that's not what you're using him for. Usually you're going to use him for your dark, for a mass change or bring out your dark wall. So if you're in a tight spot. Or if you're stuck under Fusion Destiny as well. If you're stuck under Fusion Destiny, the clause of Fusion Destiny is that you can only bring out the Dark Hero monsters. He's a Dark Hero monster, so if you need a Miracle Fusion and OTK them, or you need a tribute fodder, an extra tribute fodder for the Destiny Hero Plasma. While you're under Fusion Destiny, the Escarita is very important. So grind game extender, that's another one. And then my favorite one of my favorite grind game extenders, Elemental Hero Mass Hero Blast. Mass Hero Blast is just a blast. He's just insane. He's mass change target. You can only bring him out with mass change. So your Stratos, okay, it's going to be a Stratos. That's the only win in the entire deck. And if this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up monster that the opponent controls and have its current attack. So if you're going something against like let's pretend this is a Dracostapelia, you're going to force his negate. Okay, you're going to force him to negate because the Dracostapelia is now being at threat at being ran over by the Hero Blast. I mean, it's just so fun. But it gets juicier, especially if they have any back row as a quick effect. So you could chain the Dracostapelia as a quick effect. Pay 500 life points and target one spell or trap card on the field and return it to the hand. Return it to the owner's hand. So when you summon Chain Link 1, Hero Blast, stop the stability, have the stability attack. Dragon Stability is going to have to negate. And then Chain Link, the next Chain Link 3, he can target like a super poly or something that they have and force them to activate it, or it goes back to their hand and then the turn is yours. So this guy is insane. He's like a 2 for he pluses. He's just so good. Honestly, the Hero Blast is my favorite and my least favorite. I don't play him, but a lot of hero players do. He does have some use cases. Evil Hero Malicious Bane. So you're going to use, he's a little different. You're going to bring him out with the Dark Calling spell card along with the Dust of Gold from the graveyard. And so 1 Fiend and 1 Evil Hero, usually just the my apologies. 1, that's how you know I don't play this guy, okay? Look, 1 Evil Hero monster and 1 level 5 or higher monster. So usually you're going to use something like a Ferris from your graveyard. So you're gonna go ahead and use that with the Dark Calling, and the Malicious Bane. So just to quickly visualize it for you. And what he does is he cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. During the main phase, you can destroy. It's not a quick effect. See, that's why I like Absolute Zero better, because he has a little more versatility in my opinion. But you can destroy all monsters the opponent controls with attack less than or equal to this card's attack. Also, this monster gains 200 for each monster destroyed this way, and if you do, monsters cannot declare an attack except with hero, monsters with hero in their names. He only uses effect of Malicious Bane once returned, and I don't like him, honestly. I mean, he's good, but like, he's not bad, clearly, but he's outdated. Destruction isn't enough. He's a big old super poly target because he's a dark, as you can see. Well, the good thing about him is he's a fiend, so maybe it would be harder to use him, but he's still a dark and he is a fusion, so you can Garou. Well, maybe it might be harder to Garou him because he's a fiend, but he's certainly a dark. So if you have another fusion monster on the field, boom, that's the Dragon Steel Paleo target. Another thing I don't like about him is you're going against a tier limit matchup, you go to destroy everything, you destroy. They thrive off of being destroyed, the tier limits. So he's even worse currently now because the tier limits are a thing. They exist. So just a warning, and he could be a bit cloggy in the main deck with if you hard draw the dark Calling. Try him out. He does have his case uses, but I think his case use came and went when DPE was meta with Anaconda and when Prank Kids was meta. That's when he was at his peak. And before Chillamus came out, in my opinion, that's when he was at his peak potential. But now I don't know. He could be like after let's say you bait everything out, you made him use everything or something like that, or you could make him bait. You could make him bait out something that you don't like. That's another thing. He's a really good bait. He'd be either a game ender or a bait. So that's another thing. You can strike the fear of God in the opponent's heart. Just the fact that they know you have a Dark Calling in hand after you use a Dust of Gold, they're going to try to play around him and waste resources on him while you have other things, such as your DPE looming. So they are an incredible tag team, by the way. Does it say by opponents? No. So the DPE could destroy the Malicious Bane and something else, and then the Malicious Bane won't be destroyed. Now, these are some things that you can do with this card. And as well, again, if he gets targeted, you can just mass change him away into a Dark Wall. So he does have some uses. So, but these are gonna be your primary extra deck monsters. And guys, stay tuned for what you guys are waiting for, some playtests. Let's do some playtests in the next video, which is coming. It'll be here, should be here today. So, because I'm on a roll. So, I love you guys. If you guys have any questions, please ask in the comments.